praise to Yahweh. In the name of the Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops. Great millstone. This is where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And also shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I'm of that number. Okay, so we're going to go back into this prophecy in Revelation 13, verse 16 and 17. All right, it reads, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." Okay, what this is saying is that this man, all right, and when I say man, it is a people. Okay, it is the wicked. Okay, the ones that are contrary to, or the ones that are adverse to our power, the ones who come to do the workings of Satan and the devil. Okay, the one who has control of the earth at this point, all right, only because the Lord set him up to have this power. He didn't get this power by his own hand. Okay, this is Esau Edom that we are speaking of. All right, I have to move this camera for a second. All right, give me a minute. Got the wrong book under there. All right, so this is a Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. We're going to look up Edom. All right, we do this because the Lord tells us to study. Let's get that verse really quick. 2 Timothy 2:15. It reads, "Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." So we study, okay? We become workmen, all right? And we're not ashamed in the things that the Lord shows to us, okay? He allows us to rightly divide the word of truth when we do obey the things that he says. Study, become a workman. As we're going to get next, Revelation 1 and 3, read, okay? And he allows us to rightly divide the word of truth, okay? We don't just say that we have faith and sit on our ass and do nothing about it. It doesn't stop there, all right? That's where it starts. Receiving that gift of faith, that's where all of this starts, okay? Faith leads you to study, leads you to become a workman, all right? Leads you not to be ashamed of speaking of your power, okay? This world tells you to not speak about religion, all right? Why would it tell you to do that? All right? We are not ashamed of the words of our power, all right? Anyway, in doing so, he blesses us with the gift of faith, all right? And in obeying him, it gives us the talent to rightly divide the word of truth. Let's go see what Revelation 1 and 3 says really quick. Also, it says, Revelation 1 and 3, "Blessed is he that readeth." All right, readeth what? Okay, we get in these scriptures. Okay, we find the understanding. Of course, we get guided by men, okay, that the Lord put down here, okay, to guide us. And this is all through the spirit and power of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. All right, there is no free will. So we are thankful to be put on this path. Okay, we are thankful to see the Lord, see the world for what it is, and to see examples of zombies walking around here. People who speak about being of the Lord's only by their mouth alone, all right, not in action. Let me find this verse really quick. Not hearers only. All right, James 1 and 22, "But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves." All right, people walk around here thinking that just because they say they have faith, right, that's where it stops. It's not where it stops, man. All right, I want to see what this word is for doers. All right, here's the word, the Greek word for doers.
Strong's G 4163. Poietes. Poietes.
Okay. It says a maker, a producer. Okay. We are supposed to produce fruit, right? Author. It says performer, one who obeys or fulfills the law. Okay. All right, let's see what this root word says. Go to the root word. All right. To make ready, to prepare, to produce. Okay. What is the root word? Poieo, right? That word is actually in this in this prophecy. All right, when it says causeth, right, that goes back to poieo. Okay, so to make ready, and so at the same time to institute. Okay, to make. Anyway, if you have faith, all right, if the Lord actually blessed you with this gift, you would be doing something. Right, not just with your mouth. You would be doers of the word, not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. Okay. Let me go on. James 1:23. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. Okay, let's see what that says in NLT. James 1:22 in the NLT. But don't just listen to God's word. You must do what it says. Otherwise, you are only fooling yourselves. For if you listen to the word and don't obey, it is like glancing at your face in a mirror. You see yourself, walk away, and forget what you look like. Okay? Man. Let me jump down to 26. James 1:26 in the NLT. If you claim to be religious, but don't control your tongue, you are fooling yourself, and your religion is worthless. Okay? Pure and genuine religion in the sight of our power, all right, in the sight of Yahweh the Father, means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you. How do we care for the ones that are without this truth? We give them the truth. That is what love is. That's what caring for orphans and widows is. Okay? That is loving your neighbor as you do yourself. All right? We receive this truth. We give this truth. Okay? Without letting the world corrupt us, because back here in 2 Timothy 2:15, we rightly divide the word of truth. All right? Nothing is going to take us away from this except for Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai if he feels the need to. All right? But the ones who are steadfast in this, the elect and the remnant, all right, we're not going to be shaken. Okay? We're not going to be corrupted by this world. We're coming out of the corruption. Okay? Let's go back to Revelation 1 and 3, though. Finish reading this out. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. The time for what? All right, Romans 13 and 11. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. Okay, Romans 13 and 12 now. The night is far spent, The day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Okay, Romans 13:13. Let us walk honestly, as in the day, being doers, right? Not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on the Lord, Yahushua the Messiah, the anointed, okay? And make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Don't make excuses to do things that are worldly, okay? Okay, pray to stay in the spirit, man. Do these things to the best of your ability. Be a doer of the word and not a hearer only. Okay, so let's go here again. Got carried away, going on to something else. All right. Anyway, Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. Speaking of the and he in Revelation 13 and verse 16. All right, it is Esau, Edom. It is the wicked. All right, so the entry for Esau reads Edom, Edomites. Okay, it says the nation and its people who were the descendants of Esau. He founded the country, so his name is equated with Edom. Right? The country was also called Seir or Mount Seir, which was the name of the territory in which the Edomites lived. At the bottom of this entry for Edom, it reads, Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures as the scene of great future judgments. She is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from Yahweh, Baal Shem, Yahweh Shai, all right? And to add on to that, you should go to Malachi 1 and 4. It reads, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Yahweh, all right? They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever, which is why they didn't receive any promise of mercy from our power. All right, now, at the beginning of that, it says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. This is speaking of that beast, all right? They are the ones that are in rulership, okay? All right, this is the second leg of Rome, all right? Their rulership started with the Greeks, really gained their stride during the Roman Empire, all right? Was almost done away with, but it got healed, okay? America is this rebuilt, impoverished or desolate place. All right, you can tell by the philosophies and the beliefs with which are the image of the beast. Okay, so you have the actual power structure, which is the beast. You have their philosophies and the things that they are about, which is the image of the beast. All right, and then what we're talking about in this prophecy is the mark of the beast. Okay, so you have the power structure, you have the philosophies and the beliefs, all right, and then you have the mark, all right, which acts as an identification, all right, a badge of servitude, okay. But they are in power, okay. They are in power. We can go to Job 9 and 24 really quick. All right, remember, in Malachi 1 and 4, it says that they would be known as the border of wickedness. Now, Job 9 and 24 tells you the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Okay? He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And that is another clue. Okay? That's another clue. Who changed the image of the Messiah? All right? We all know that the image that is in the world is a false image. It does not match okay, how the Messiah is described in these scriptures. All right. And in knowing that, you have to go to, you have to wonder about the Last Supper. Okay. We all know what that picture is. If you don't, type these up. All right. But the image of the Messiah looks like, and I don't mean the image as in that's part of it. That's the philosophy. That's the only philosophy. All right. What I'm saying is that picture of the Messiah and that picture of the rendering of the Messiah and the rendering of the false rendering, have mind you, of the Last Supper, the disciples and the Messiah. All right. They match in looks. Okay. But they're both off. And also the mural, all right, of the rendering of the finger of God, all right, that mural that's up in I think it's the Capitol building, I'm not sure, all right, some governmental building in DC, okay, all right. As a matter of fact, Washington, DC was first named Rome, Maryland, all right, okay. The planets, days of the week, all right. Churches worshiping on Sunday, the sun god. All these things go back to Rome, and some things reach as far back as Egypt. All right, but these are parts of the philosophy and the beliefs of the beast. Okay, the power structure. These are the beliefs and the philosophies of the power structure to get, especially you Israelites, to throw you off. All right. So when I said image of the Messiah, I don't want you to get that confused. The image of the beast is not that image, that fake image of the Messiah. All right. That is a part of it. But remember, it's beliefs, philosophies, all right, Christianity, and all the false images it makes you think about in your head that we've been told about over time, all right. That's a part of the image of the beast. That's a part of the philosophies and the beliefs. But when you hear image of the beast, it is not that picture of Caesar Borgia. Okay, that's not what it is. Okay, it's way more broad than that. All right. So let me get back here to this prophecy really quick. All right, and he causeth all. We know who the he is. We just explained that. Causeth all. All right, how is this he? How is Esau Edom? All right, how is this power structure? How is the beast able to causeth all? Well, we just read in Job that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He is in rulership now. Okay, he makes the laws of this world. He drives this world in the ways that he wants to go. Right? He has all the riches he can want, right? And he gathers to himself peoples, right? And still this world is going down the wrong path. It's about death, okay? Everything leads to death here. All right? Why is this world not going in a route that leads towards life? All right? Because you are wicked, Esau, okay? And the whole world, all right, knows it. All right, your little glow that you had around you through these lies, all right, are fading. Like Show Enough in what's that movie called? The Last Dragon. Your shit is starting to fade, man. It's starting to short out. All right, that red glow. That shit is starting to short out, man. Okay, the curtain is being pulled back. All right, and the world's going to see you exactly for who you are. All right, and the world's going to see the Israelites for exactly whom they are, the Lord's chosen people. Okay, it's just the truth of the matter. That's it, man. All right, we are not ashamed to speak this truth. Anyway, that is how he can cause it all, because he has the earth given into his hand, and not by his own power. All right, it's by the Lord's power. As a matter of fact, what was that? Daniel, let me see, 4:17, is it? Yeah, Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. Okay, he sets up kingdoms and brings them down, all right? And giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men. And that's what you are, Esau. You are the basest of men, all right? You are in your heaven right now, all right? You are in your heaven right now. But it's about to be taken down, all right? So, again, Revelation 13:16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And they have to be slick and do this, all right? That causeth all goes back to poieo, and it means, the Greek word poieo, all right? It means to make ready, and so at the same time to institute. All right, they control both sides of this wicked place. All right, they present problems, and then they present the solution. All right, they present problems. They make you react a certain way, and you meaning the world. All right, and then they present the solution. All right, and their solution to a lot of problems is going to be this mark. That's what the people are going to think. People who are concerned about carbon footprints, you're going to call for other people to receive this mark. All right, this is going to be a replay, but on a bigger scale of what happened in 2019 and 2020. Okay? All right? So they're going to call for people to get this so they can track your carbon footprint. All right? They're going to put your IDs on here, your medical data. They're going to make it like a key fob to where all you got to do is go put your hand next to something and it'll activate it. All right, they're going to catch people by convenience, peace, safety, right? Because everyone looks up to this man. All right, they've always wanted to be seen as the Most High. All right, they think that they are the most. Their pride has them thinking that they are the Most High, and you people treating them as such. What do you think that's doing to their pride, man? It's making it go up through the roof. This man actually thinks he got this power on his own. All right, he's far from considering Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. All right, he lied about how the Lord and Savior looks. He lied about their names. All right, he lied about who are the people. He put himself in these places. Okay, and has fooled the whole world, man. But the Lord gave him all these things to do so, just to prove his word right. All right, for Israelites to learn a lesson. Okay. So verse 17, Revelation 13:17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, so at the beginning of that you heard, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. This speaks to this mark being made mandatory. All right, this is how he's going to cause all to receive. All right, he's going to make it mandatory. So what this mark is the micro CHIP. It is the RFID CHIP. A couple of examples is Walletmore, WALLETMOR. All right, go type that in. Check out that technology. Filter it through Revelation 13, verses 16 and 17. Also keep in mind the way that the world is going. We're going digital. All right, we're going digital. Okay, whether there's baby steps between now and this thing being made mandatory, we don't know. But we point out all the things that could be traps and snares. All right, the Lord told us to point these things out, to be watchmen. All right, to be watchmen. Ezekiel, let's go to Ezekiel 3:17. All right, Ezekiel 3:17, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. It didn't say unto the house of the whole world. It says unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. All right? These are the Lord's words, the Lord's warnings. What makes you think that he doesn't know what he is making happen? All right? These warnings are coming true. All right? These prophecies are coming true. All right? So this thing is going to be made mandatory. It is going to be pushed. We already gave one example of Walletmore. Another example is Neuralink or Elon Musk's brain technology. All right, go look up that and go look up that technology and filter that through Revelation 13 verses 16 and 17. And then you can take it a step further and look up the manufacturers or companies or other things that are in competition with these two examples. All right? Because that causeth all. This thing is going to be a global thing. Okay? All right, so there's going to be many manufacturers, many names surrounding this technology. The point is to pay attention to this technology. All right, which in itself, the technology is not sin. It is the receiving into your body, literally, all right, that is sin. Okay? All right, and a lot of people already got this. You know, type in micro C-hip Sweden. All right? All right? Type that in. Type in C-hip girl. C-hip girl. Okay? We got to speak in code because, once again, Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So he can choose to take down videos. He already has. All right? There's nothing nice coming from this. All right? Do your due diligence. Remember, be doers of the word. All right? It says study. So instead of going to go read this in this video, I will just point this out and you go read it. Revelation 14, verses 9 and 10. Revelation 16, verses 1 and 2. Just a couple of examples of what you have to look forward to if you are one of these people that receive this thing. All right? For other people who hope to be on the side of the Lord, hope to have the Lord with them, okay? Look at Revelation 3 and verse 10, okay? And then you can read John, the 17th chapter, and see how the Lord prayed for whom are his, okay? So I just wanted to touch on that really quick. We didn't go too much into it. We just went straight to the point, all right? And we're not going to stop touching on this prophecy, all right? This warning. All right, so with that, don't take the micro C-hip. Do not take the RFID C-hip, which in Greek, the word for mark is charagma. All right, let me get that really quick. I will go get that. Let me get this. Here's the word for mark in the Greek.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma.
All right, charagma. It says a stamp, an imprinted mark. It says, of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the ones that are against the Messiah. All right. Strong's definition of charagma, it says a scratch or etching, i.e. stamp, as a badge of servitude. All right. Who are you in servitude to? What is this a badge for? Who are you in servitude to? All right. The ones that are against the Messiah, or what this world calls the Antichrist. All right. Anti, against, and that word Christ goes back to anointed. So you have to be careful with that, because this world is telling you that there's going to be one man that the whole world is waiting on to come and profess that he's the Antichrist, okay? There are many Antichrists. As a matter of fact, if you are a hearer only and not a doer of the word, you might be an Antichrist, man. Okay? Anything that is against the Messiah is an anti-Christ or an anti-Messiah. Okay? There are many anti-Christ on this in this world. All right? Many. So I just want to touch on that really quick. All right? So that all praise to Yahweh in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone. This is where I have learned this truth, and this is where I am still learning this truth. And also shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I'm of that number. And Lord willing, we'll see you in the next video. Shalom.